Hello and welcome to episode 67 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your host for tonight, Noah Meagher, along with Jackson and Ryan. If we're not giddy to start the show, of course, if you're not aware, this is episode 67. We've been waiting for this for a long time, so it's likely that we will see some references from these two as well as myself and maybe some from our good friend Matt Miller in the chat. So looking forward to that and looking forward to getting into the late pick 5 this Saturday at Santa Anita, of course. Great sequence over there down in Arcadia, California. So looking forward to that. And before we do that, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you're not listening to us, obviously you can watch us over at our YouTube channel. And you obviously know that you can go sign up for our Power Picks at our website. Obviously, regular Power Picks are able to go over to subscribe and purchase 2 full tracks. Due to the absence this week of our host and founder, Howard Kravitz, it will be Pete on the grid and spot plays for the card that Picks and Ponies is covering. I believe it's going to be Kyle for the Gulfstream card that Ben and Boozin will be covering. And then yours truly will be taking care of the coast-to-coast duties, as I did last week. Didn't go well, but we will take another run at it next week. And, of course, if you want to learn more about our podcast, you can go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Scrolling on the bottom of the screen is our weekly schedule. Of course, Tuesday night, filming this show here, Pacific Horseplayers. Wednesday nights, we've got the leaderboard sponsored by Twin Spires, as well as Bettin' and Boozin'. Then Thursday nights, Picks and Ponies. And we round out the week with Wire to Wire, which will be Ryan and me to get you through that once again. And the last thing, of course, you can get past performances, clocker reports, and such at Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita every race day, go to drf.com for more info. I think that's everything I've got to get through. It looks like we've already gotten an abundance of comments, so I'll get to those shortly. But before we do that, how you guys doing in episode 67?
What's Anchor? I hear you talk about this Anchor thing every single intro. I've never heard of this. Is this some kind of platform I'm not aware of?
I've actually never checked it out. Should we do that?
Maybe later. I'm just
probably not right now.
Maybe
is it like a Spotify sort of platform thing? It must be.
I think it's kind of like maybe a SoundCloud. You ever been on SoundCloud?
No, I didn't do that stuff. I had a couple guys in high school that made like mixtapes and put them on there and try to get famous that way, but I don't think it worked out for them.
You went to high school with a lot of DJs, but I don't think any of them are currently DJs.
Yeah.
We don't have any DJs in the chat, but we do have Katie, who is hoping to bet some winners in the year of the horse. Of course, Matt Miller is here. I think out of the 15 or comments or so, I think about 6 or 7 of them are from that tagline of _ Matt Miller. So glad that he's here. We've got Char Philly CA that says, hey, with a heart emoji and a magnet. Thanks for joining the show, Char Philly. Bob Segura, of course, 6'7" Exactabox throughout the Big 5 on Saturday. Looking forward to that. We've got Jim Pilares saying that he's old school. He will need 2 more episodes to be excited. We're not.
I appreciate that guy. I appreciate.
Yeah, that was kind of the OG. These last couple of months, the trends kind of switched, but whatever floats your boat. We've got James. He's got howdy all with the cowboy emoji. Thank you, James, for joining the show. And we've got more people that are joining, including Tom Espinoza, a viewer from California himself. Good evening, PHP friends. Thanks, Tom, for joining the show. You guys got anything to address before we get into this nice pick 5?
Yeah, I'm glad all is bright with the world again. I won my side bets. We're back. We're 19-1. You guys got smoked last week. Your one horse ran dead last, Noah. and Ryan's 9 is still on the racetrack somewhere too. So
wait, what race was that? I thought that was the last race, was it not?
No, you and I was the maiden race. Actually,
it was video review, wasn't it?
You bet the Sadler horse that was the worst favorite in the history of the United States.
He lost all chance at the break.
I mean, how was the one last, but the 9 still?
How would you know that?
When they make the 9 last?
All I know is I won.
What a start to the show. Before we get into the pick 5, I might as well let everybody know I've kind of struggled with a bit of a cough these last couple of days. So if you see me have to mute or stop talking for a second, then it's probably me trying to clear my throat. I'm sure it had something to do with me, rooting home Miss Kitty Boom in the last race on Saturday. Other than that, I don't really know where it's from, but unfortunately it's something I have to deal with. So I will try to fight through that, of course, because this is a very prestigious episode.
What do you have? Do you have mono?
It might be bronchitis, but I haven't gone to the doctor, so maybe I should go ahead and do that.
Yeah, doctors are overrated.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I won't then. But this pick 5 is not overrated, so let's go ahead and get into it. I will get that up on the screen for you guys, and of course, we begin with the Equibase, and we begin with race 6, 10 races on the program on Saturday at Santa Anita, and it starts with a $16,000. I believe non-winners are 2 lifetime claimers going a mile on the main track. We've got a field of 8, and the morning line favorite is a number 5, Bowtie Boys for Kimura and Yakteen at 2-1. And the second choice is the number 2, Spun Not Stirred Florida bred for DeMuro and Gennaro Vallejo at 7-2. Let's see who we are going with to kick things off on Saturday. I'm going 5-7-2. Jackson's going 5-1-2, and Ryan is going 1-5-2. So Ryan is the odd man out here. Ryan, you're going with the 1 Grandissimo, the Calbred, 8-1 on the line for Tamayo. And Lescano, would you like about this runner?
Yeah, it was less what I liked about this runner and what I was trying to play against with the runners in the 5 and the 2. I thought the 5 Bowtie Boys in for the waiver. I'm sure you guys will speak about that. Just, those 7 seconds and thirds. Grandissimo is a little bit underexposed. Has 1 race going 2 turns on the dirt, and that was at Santa Anita in January. And, he finished that race off well. Obviously, that was a bottom-level maiden claiming race, but the buyer came back strong enough, and he's been consistent with the speed figures, whether that's dirt or turf as of late. So he came back to run a 67 appropriately on the grass in that 25 non-2. Gets back onto the dirt here. Late birthday guy in Isidro Tamayo, and let's see if he can get the job done on Saturday. I think he'll get a bit of a price beating the couple of second choices in here that have those seconds and thirds starting to rack up.
I don't mind the pick, Jackson. You've got him second. Is he a threat to the 5, or someone you might play an exacta with?
I guess what I would say is he's going to get first run on the 5. It sure seems like, based on his dirt races, because looking at this field, there is, and that's not the right pace projector, I'm sure it'll refresh in a second, but there it is. There is no speed. I mean, the 5, if they wanted to, could have a 4-length lead and not even go very fast. I mean, he is that clear on the pace projector in this spot. I mean, there's just no speed. So I think the 1 is the one horse that has been forwardly placed in his dirt races that can maybe be within range a little bit, and he could get first jump if the 5 doesn't show up with his best effort. But obviously, you and I know I feel like the 5 is probably going to be very tough to beat in the spot.
Yeah, and you can talk about him. I think he's got a big shot in here, especially just because pace scenario seems like he's not going to get a lot of pressure up front. He didn't last time, but they hadn't seen him since the end of March. So I just think he got a little flat late and kind of had every right to.
Yeah, and look, I think he did have a little – they didn't go fast. I think he did have a little more pressure last time. Kimura was actually on the other horse and was kind of making sure he didn't get away too easily on the front end. And those two kind of just ran away from the rest. They grounded each other down, and he got beat. He hadn't run in a year. He was in for the waiver that day. He's in for the waiver again. I always feel like it's a sign of confidence that they think this horse can win this level, and they don't want to lose him for the tag. So they get a little freebie here, get a win, and move on and face some tougher rivals next time out.
Definitely agree with that. I actually didn't even notice that he wasn't in for the tag yet again. I thought that was a first start off the layoff kind of thing, but obviously that's something that they're able to take advantage of. So I think, again, that's a green flag for sure. You guys got we all have the 2 in third. I'll throw it back to you, Ryan. I was a little disappointed that at 1-2 he couldn't quite get by Last Call Paul, who we know very well, was a horse that what did it take him 21 starts to break his maiden, and he finally did it at Del Mar over the summer. Maybe he's just kind of turned things around and kind of gotten the light bulb to turn on, but just a little disappointed he couldn't get it last time, and just kind of thought that he was a bit of an outside threat.
Yeah, look, I'm against the 5, but I'm most against the 2. I do think the 2 is the third likeliest winner, in my opinion, of the race, but he doesn't like to get the job done at all. 1 win from the 13 starts and kind of runs that same race every single time. Last time out, he was odds on. He couldn't get the job done versus, you said it, a 1 for whatever horse. And yeah, I'm not going to take him here. Getting claimed out of Peter Urton, who is a pretty high percentage barn, into a lower percentage barn. Nothing against Gennaro Vallejo, excuse me. But over 15 off the claim in the last year. I'm going to pass on him in here, but I'll use him underneath if I play any exotics.
Yeah, I looked it up earlier. I think Vallejo is either 8 or 9% first off the claim. Jackson, if you want to do it, you can. I know it says 0 for 15 down at the bottom left, but the 9%, the 8 or 9% is over the last 5 years. So Jackson's providing this for us again. Thank you, Jackson. Uncle Evco, I thought, was a little interesting. Number one, he has the ability to be forward, and like we said, there's not a ton of speed in here. Now I know he's a little shy when it comes to getting his picture taken. 1 for 17 with 5 seconds, but one I thought could maybe round out second or third. Go back to his race at a similar level, 3 back here at Santa Anita. I thought he ran a pretty good second to only lose by half length. Switched the trainers to George Lopez. He tried the turf 2 times. Maybe that's just not his thing. And I also think that those running lines in that form was a little better in terms of company line than what he's going to be facing once he returns to the dirt. So I thought he was a little interesting. I know he had some comments about people that like the 7. I think that was partially because they were wanting to bet the 7 in race 6, of course. But just thought he was a little interesting regardless of the episode number. So thought he could maybe round out some exactas or tries, but we'll go ahead and move on to race 7. Race 7, I believe, is the start of the Turf Pick 3, and I think is the feature on the card, the Wishing Well Stakes. It's on the screen now. $100,000 purse. We've got fillies and mares going 6 furlongs on the grass. Morning line favorite is the 6, Gratefully, for Florent Giroux and Robert Falcone Jr. at 2-1, and is also co-owned by our proud sponsor, Adelphi Racing Club. If you have any information, go ahead and email Matt Cuter. And they also sponsor one of our newer shows, Triple Crown Trail, which I believe there are 3 or 4 episodes of that out so far. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check that out, as well as interested in being a part owner. So good luck to them, of course. Gratefully, the number 6, 2-1 here in the Wishing Well. She's the morning line favorite, and a collection of horses that will be vying for second choice. Let's see who we are going with, if we're going with the 6 or a different runner. I'm going 6-4-7. Jackson's going 7-6-4, and Ryan is going 6-4-8. So Jackson will be the one to go first. He is the contrarian here. He likes the number 7, Navy Bell, for Ricky Gonzalez and Mark Glatt at 6-1. Jackson.
Look, I'm really not against Gratefully in this spot. I think she's way the horse to beat. She's in really good form, and she's got a lot more upside than a lot of the horses have in this race. I just think she's going to be over bet, and she's 2-1 in the morning line. I could see her going a little bit lower than that. And this is a new spot for her first try against stakes competitions, first start without Lasix. I just kind of want her to prove it again in a race like this that does seem a lot more competitive than the field she beat last time, when a lot of the top contenders just didn't show up at all. So small stab against her in this spot. I'm gonna go with Navy Bell in here, but I feel like just hasn't really been getting the trip as of late. I don't know what they were doing last time down the hill, because she is a horse that is capable of being close to the front, and I think she broke on top. I think she outbroke the field, and by the time they got a furlong or 2 into the race, she was dead last, and it was just a slow pace, and she was never going to run that well that day. Like you can see her towards the outside. I mean, she outbreaks the field, and then they just dragged her back to last. And as I said, she's run well before when she's been much closer, especially the race 3 back on Breeders' Cup weekend, when that was in the Senator Maddie, I believe is the name of the stakes race, against Queen Maxima. She was a lot closer, and she was sitting in the pocket, never got out in time. And by the time she did get out, Queen Maxima was gone. Queen Maxima would be a huge favorite in this race. So I think she's capable of a running race that can beat the favorite in this spot if she gets the right trip, if there can be more aggressive with her early on, because there's not a lot of speed in this race again. So she does need to be closer to the pace. She can't let Gratefully get too far away. But if she's going to be 6-1 in here and you're going to get Gratefully at 9-5, 2-1, I want Navy Bell in this spot.
And she also kind of got herself in a weird spot last time. She was in between horses. And not to mention the race was primarily dominated by speed. I mean, Queen Maxima was very good. Like you said, would be a big favorite in here. And Princessa Moche, I believe is how you pronounce it, was leading them around that first turn in that dirt crossing and actually came back and won. So it seems like the form has held up okay. I thought you can make the case that she ran just as well as the horse that Ryan's gotten third, who I believe is Egyptian Mao. They were, separated by a nose, but depending on, gun to head, who ran the better race, I thought maybe you could lean towards the 7 Navy Bell. Ryan, we are chalking out with a favorite, and frankly, it's just a similar scenario with the favorite in the last race. It's just very possible that we could see her having things her own way up front.
Yeah, that's very much what I think, and I do just think she's kind of the best animal. She's coming in here exactly the way you want. They took their time with this filly. They went through the 2 conditions. She blew the doors off the competition last time out, and if she replicates that effort, I know she's got to switch off Lasix, which isn't something Falcone is the strongest with. I believe he's 1 for 30 in the last 5 years. But that being said, I do think she's very talented. So. She might be a tad over bet, but I'm going to single her. I think she's going to be really tough to beat in here because she definitely has the pace advantage. I think she has the class edge too.
Completely agree. And, she's going to be second off the bench since August. Obviously, they had to make sure she got out here. And with the flights and stuff, it was good to see that, they took the time to do that. And she ran as well as she did. I know maybe some of the other favorites were a little disappointing. But she smoked that field. I think it's just the biggest question is whether she's going to be able to kind of handle that 6.5 configuration going down the hill. But if she's got things her own way up front, that gives her a little room for error for sure.
Just real quick, I think this race is 6 on the flat, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. That is a hose fail. It is 6 on the flat. Is there a race that's 6.5 down the hill?
There is.
The next turf race.
The next to last.
I knew there was one of them.
Race.
Saratoga Special, an Irish bred coming in from overseas. She's run at Sandown. She's run at York. She's run at Cork, Dundalk, a bunch of those tracks over there in Ireland and the UK. I liked what I saw in the mornings, Ryan. I didn't particularly get a good look at what she was able to do on the track. I know we haven't seen her since August. But you have to imagine she's got at least a little ability, based on the fact that Hector Berrios ends up here. And it seems like, he could have chosen some other spots, no?
Without a doubt. I'm trying to remember which one. It was either February 7th or the January 31st. I caught one of those workouts over the training track when I was up at Santa Anita, helping Doug out in the mornings. And it got pointed out to me like, hey, just keep an eye. Nice. Thanks. Yeah. There we go. Sorry. Old football habits die hard. Hold on. There's a plane taking off in my living room.
Okay. I think what he's going to say is he saw a workout in the morning. He got hooked up with a Peter Miller trainee, right? That's the same work we watched.
Yes. But again, it was less about the work and watching it. It was more just, I got pointed out to that horse. And was told to keep an eye out for when she debuts. So I'm interested in her for sure. I think she's a logical alternative, because I've kind of seen everything I need to from the rest of this field. Outside of Gratefully, who I think is definitely the most talented, I think we've kind of seen a lot of what these other fillies and mares have to offer. So I think Saratoga Special is kind of that dark horse, no pun intended, and could certainly, step up with a big effort here for Richard Baltus, and has certainly been training really sharp leading into here.
I'm really curious to see what Baltus has to say about this filly, because if you guys go back, and he's always been like this, but if you remember on American Oaks Day, he had that other European shipper. He's very blunt about his horse's chances. He was like, why is she favored? This horse, she basically was like, this horse is no good. And she ran like it. And he's often like that with his horses, especially the ones that are coming off layoffs or debuting or making their North American debut. So I'm curious to see what he has to say about her, if he likes her or not.
I'm curious to hear what you have to say because I really would have liked her if there was a little more speed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little worried she's going to be last or close to it, right?
I don't know. I'll admit I did not watch her races. It seems like based on the comment lines that she doesn't have a whole lot of speed.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a lot of speed over there, then you don't have a lot of speed over here for sure. So that would be the concern with me as well. Because the 6 is going to go. We know that. We know Gratefully is going to be close. I guess the 9 towards the outside could go pressure. The 9 is Jungle Peace. That's a filly that can be forward.
Yeah.
But she's not like a super speedball or anything either. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'd be remiss. Thank you, Matt, for bringing that up. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the 4's name is Saratoga Special. And, of course, Paul Howren, co-host of Picks and Tonys, is a rider for the Saratoga Special. So I feel like if Paul is betting anybody on Saturday, it is probably going to be that Baltus filly. The 9 I gave a look to, probably going to be more forward than anything. I know she's going to be probably in the mix. I would think I saw some of her works and she looked good, but she is not covered in our picks. But this horse right here is Egyptian Mao. Ryan, you can close out the conversation in the wishing well with this runner at 9-2.
Yeah, it's very similar to Jackson's take on Navy Bell, where she was against the pace flow last time. I've kind of wanted to see this again. This is another filly who's kind of been chasing those slow paces in a lot of these races and gets to go the flat 6 furlongs, which might be a little different. I think that configuration tends to be maybe a little more favorable towards off the pace types. Sometimes you can kind of it's tough to gauge the pace going down the hill. So I do think that you get maybe a little bit of a more favorable pace scenario here, but I do also fear that Gratefully could just kind of get away with things on the front end, and that might be all she wrote. But Egyptian Mao could certainly round out some exactas or tries along with Saratoga Special.
Yeah, it definitely seems like more of a win threat if we see some pressure on our topic, the number 6 Gratefully. So looking forward to the wishing well on Saturday. We'll go ahead and move on to race 8, and race 8 is up on the screen now. It's a $50,000 Cowbred maiden claimer. They are running for $35,000. They're running at 6 furlongs on the main track, and most of the contenders are drawn toward the outside. Morning line favoritism goes to the number 8 Twisted Humor for Bondi and Maldonado at 3-1. Second choice is the other Bondi runner at 7-2. That's the 5 Shady Stripes, ridden by Welfin Orantes. And we will see who we are going with in this race. And I chuckled when I saw this. I'm going 6, 7, 8. Jackson is also going 6, 7, 8. And Ryan is going 8, 7, 6. So clearly we have a pretty mutual.
Yeah.
When it comes to 8 at Santa Anita. Ryan, we will go back to you. The contrarian once again. It seems like we've got one contrarian for the first 3 races that we're talking about. Twisted Humor, speedy type. Ryan hoping that she takes this field gate to wire.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that last out effort certainly is something to be enthusiastic about. Edwin Maldonado is going to stick aboard the Candyman. I know, Jim. I was tempted to go 6, 7, 8 here, and man, that would have been even funnier. But just for the meme, I can't give away the winner on in race number 8 here. So I do think Twisted Humor is going to get out to the early lead. Candyman can be tough to catch. He did end up getting caught last time out by I think it's Tammy Baby. Who was around 3-1 that day, but just had a really nice trip and kind of got the job done behind a couple others in there. But I thought Twisted Humor got the best of the draw today. Just going to sit outside of any other horses that try and go. But I think Edwin's going to find himself on the lead, should be comfortable, and should have enough to get home.
This is another race where, it kind of seems like the 8 could have things her own way. She kind of did give it up last time, but the winner, who actually was another Bondi runner, there were 3 of them in there, just wore her down late, and that this will be her 3rd career start. So I feel like she has every right to take a step forward. Excuse me, that's not what I meant to do. Take a step forward and be able to hold off the likes of some of these other fillies in here. Obviously, I've got her in 3rd. Jackson's also got her in 3rd. But the main conversation comes with the 6 and the 7, and we'll start with Cammy's girl Jackson, who I thought ran very well last time. However, that was for the barn of Dan Blacker, this time for the barn of Daniel Dunham. Pretty transparent. He is not up to the likes of Dan Blacker. Obviously, Daniel Dunham can win a race here or there. but it's something that you've got to look at when you are handicapping races. But regardless, I thought her debut was, pretty good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with the barn switch. I didn't know what to make of it. I was kind of with you. End of the day, I kind of just threw it out the window at this level. Like, I don't know if I care that much. If anything, it might help the price. So that's kind of the angle I wanted to approach it in a race like this. She ran well first time out. We know how tricky the rail can be at Del Mar sprinting, especially going the 5.5. And she did have some trouble to start. She didn't get out well. It definitely caused her position. But by the time they get to the stretch, I mean, she was really finishing up nicely. She blew by the field on the gallop out. She was really running down the lane. And I think that was the start she probably just needed. She needed to just figure out what she was doing, figure out she was in a race. Now she's had a little time since then. Much better post today. She found an easier field than last time. That race has come back pretty live for the level. And I just think if she's able to replicate that performance and get out the gate a little better, she's way the horse to beat, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is here, making up some pretty considerable ground here on the outside. And like you said, the rail sprinting on the dirt at Del Mar is typically something that you don't love to see, especially first out. It can definitely be a death sentence down there. And there have been 3 next out winners that have come out of that race. So I think that is a bit of a feather in her cap. The only problem is we would hope that she would break a little better this time around, just because, if the 8's able to wing it out there up front, then she might be a little bit up against it. And we don't have the luxury of seeing that. And we don't have the luxury of seeing the works in general, because she's been training at San Luis Rey, and they do not cover San Luis Rey on First TV. So a bit of a guess there. She'll have to break a bit better if she wants a chance on Saturday. Meridian May, we actually all have in second, the 7. Still salty that Ryan did not go 6, 7, 8. Meridian May, who I thought Ryan ran pretty well first out, 52 buyer, came back, and that was against a much better field than what she's going to be facing on Saturday. Don't really know what to do with the turf effort, but it's safe to say she's been facing a lot better company than what she will in a few days.
Yeah, she's faced a lot better. Really with you there. Not really sure why they went to the grass. But only cost 7,000, so the drop to 50 doesn't really concern me too much. If she were to get claimed, they're definitely going to make some money on that investment. And that the first out effort, I think makes a lot of sense. And certainly fits first this group in terms of the competition that she faced. Billie Holiday's a very nice Calbred, and I think he's gonna be knocking around there. So I think Meridian may make sense.
And the second place finisher in that race, I know Billie Holiday was about 5 clear of them, but this runner right here came back and improved 7 points and beat a field in another Calvert Maiden special weight race. And she was pretty close. I mean, I think she was within a couple lengths of that runner that day. So we just tossed the grass race, and she's able to, take her talents and, better them, if not equal them at a not so good level, or not so good in compared to what she faced that day, I believe, in early January. Then she's going to have a big shot. California Cat, I will mention very quickly.
How do you not have this horse? You love California.
Right? How do you not have this horse?
You love cats.
You should have been 999 in.
She would be
if I like cat, I gotta love kitty. So you gotta use California Cat, bro. I mean, what are we doing?
Let me talk about this runner. No. They only paid $2,500 for the stud fee, and I don't think it's concerning that she's in for the 50, just because this is a bit of a lower barn, and they wouldn't really expect much from her. I would be curious to see what kind of money she takes based off of that 46-1 work going 4 furlongs on February 15th. That was best of 15. She got a bullet for that. And Edward Freeman, I believe when I looked it up, first time starters and maiden claiming, I believe he was 1 for 8 or 1 for 12. I can't remember if it was 12% or 8%, but it was about in that threshold. And Cesar Belmont won a race on Sunday with a price. So obviously he's very capable at hitting at a price, but just general opinion, I feel like you would like to see the board with her, unless you guys have something different, then we can move on.
I'm surprised you don't have the source in first. I mean, it feels like an automatic name play to me, but you go out and I don't. So what do I know?
All right. We will move on to race 9. Race 9 starts the late double on Saturday.
Right.
And this is the race that I mistakenly, or sorry, the other race was the one I mistakenly said was down the hill. This one is actually down the hill. 6.5 furlongs down the hill, $70,000 purse. We've got allowance optional claiming runners for $50,000. You can see there is already a scratch. Interesting. Morning line favorite is actually one of my dad's favorite horses in training right now. The number 10, Anmer Hall for Freysu and Urton at 5-2. Second choice is, who's that? 6-1, second choice, split between the number 5, Yakalif, and Doug's runner, the 9, Crazy Cavalier. Those two are both at 6-1. Big field of 12 with the scratch, 12 in the body of the field, 1 also eligible in the number 14, Beef Winslow, and Beef Winslow is also at 6-1 and would probably be a pretty good player in here. So obviously warning to check scratches and changes when the time comes. I will get the picks up on the screen right now, and I'm going 2-10-9. Jackson's going 5-8-10, and Ryan is going 10-9-1. So we're kind of all over the place. A couple 10s, which I know Mr. Maher likes to see, as well as a couple 9s and spread out throughout the course of this race. Jackson, we will go to you, to a horse that I gave big consideration to. I actually like this horse quite a bit last time on opening day. Yeah. Ran second, I thought, for the new barn of Jeff Mullins, and another one that has a big shot in what seems to be a pretty wide open race.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this was easily the toughest race of the 5 that we're going to talk about. And I thought he ran well in that race. And to be honest, I really wasn't sure what to make of the opening day down the hill affair, because it just seemed like, I don't know if the top 3 ran away from the rest of the field. I couldn't decide if those 3 just ran much better than usual, or if the rest of the field just didn't show up at all. And with the wet turf course, it kind of even threw him off even more. And so I don't know. And he's really the only horse that moved him up the pace, because the 11, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. The 11 got completely loose.
Von Gig.
Okay, perfect. Whatever you just said. That horse got completely loose in there.
I feel like that's easier than isn't that easier than Yakalif? I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, go ahead.
Proofy rides sat second or third, and no one else did anything except for Yakalif, who came from off the pace and weaved his way in between traffic. And, he came closing late. So I thought he ran well in there, given the context of the race, given how, they didn't go very fast up front. And he was still finding a way to close into that pace. And now he found himself on Saturday in a field that is just loaded with speed. And there's speed inside, there's speed in the middle, and there's speed drawn all to the outside as well. I think he's going to get a much better pace setup than he did last time. It's also going to be a second start into the Jeff Mullins barn. And that's usually a good thing for horses in this barn. So if he's going to be 6-1 in here, I think it's a pretty good price, because he's got plenty of races that put him right there against everyone else.
Ryan, were you the one that had a second time in the barn stat last week for a Mullins?
I should do.
Sadler, or do you remember what that was?
It was for Jeff Mullins, and this was like 3 weeks ago. But updated is 18 for 57, 32%, 228 ROI.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Something to
excellent
keep track of for sure. I just thought he got a pretty good ride last time, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, maybe it didn't.
That's Hector Barrios for you, brother.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like saying I got a good ride from my rad. Like, of course, he gives good rides. Like,
but like,
that's not breaking news.
Also, this is just such a wide open race, and people are gonna see that he ran well last time. So I'm just a little worried that you're gonna get more like 7-2 than you are 6-1. I don't know if you have any comments on that.
It depends. If the 14 draws in, he'll be 6-1, because the 14 is a horse that will take a lot of money if that horse draws into the body of the field. If he doesn't, then I think he could become the clear and obvious second choice in here. Yes.
Anmer Hall, Ryan, you've got on top, who was favored in that same race that Yakalif was in. He was the 2-1 favorite that day, and he was drawn inside and proved to be detrimental because he crashed into the rail, I believe, and actually broke Antonio Freisu's ankle. So, like we said, it's good to see Antonio Freisu back, but it's also good to see this runner back.
Ankle?
Yeah, broke his toe.
His toe. Oh, it was ankle.
No.
That was the other guy in Louisiana.
Yeah, the worst jockey that the sport has ever seen. Anmer Hall, though, drew the rail last time out. And yeah, clearly, you mentioned it. He got shoved into the rail going around the bend right before the crossing. It ended up breaking Antonio Fresu's toe. It got pulled up out of there. You can see the voided claim as he was in for the tag. And look, you guys, we've kind of been over how I feel about the opening day turf course to begin with. So that's just another one I'm willing to this is a draw a line through it effort. And if you get to those 2, 3, 4 rack efforts that are on the page, they're that's a great comment by Jim. No, I'm talking about Paco Lopez. If anybody didn't know the terrible jockey I was talking about. But Abner Hall loves going down the hill, 2 for 2 in his recent form since switching out of the Steve Knapp barn. And this is one that I have to love coming back in here. I'm hoping he can get 5-2 because I do think if Beef Winslow draws in, I think that horse is going to take money. I think Yakalif's certainly going to take some play. So 5-2 seems reasonable. But this is a horse that I singled last time on my ticket. And I'm going to single again here because I think this is a good horse for this level and fits great.
So you got 2 singles.
I do. Just wait till the last race. I might even have a third.
We'll find out shortly. I mean, Peter Hurton took this horse to Kentucky Downs, for God's sakes. I mean, he obviously thinks very highly, and he was able to win that day and won pretty convincing, I thought. Then came back on the 13th of October here at Santa Anita and was able to overcome a slow pace win that day. And then, like you said, I mean, you just completely throw a line through that. Good to see him back. I have to imagine he's in for the tag because he already, met the condition. I know he's got 5 wins. A couple of the other runners, including the number 5, I'm not going to try to pronounce that again, is also in for the tag. But he's got an abundance of wins too, so no concern there. And he's also 6 for 10 in the money at Santa Anita.
This is also Abner Hall is also a horse that being in for the tag doesn't really concern me. I mean, 7-year-old gelding that's cleared the conditions. It's if he gets claimed, he gets claimed. But he's a hard knocking horse, and I think he's still good. Go ahead, Jackson.
No, just to know his point, like if they think so highly of him to take him to Kentucky Downs and he won, then it brought him back here for 80 and he won. What's he doing running for 50 again? And I think you could say he was in for 50 opening day because they wanted to win on opening day. Okay, well now it's no longer opening day. It's 2 months later and he's still in for 50. They could have run him for 80 and he would be competitive in there. Like why is it feels like they're dangling him a little bit. I don't think it's it's not one of these crazy drops we have to be super concerned about, but I think it's at least worth thinking about.
I see your point. And I don't know that I disagree with it. But he's cleared the non-2 and the non-1 is significantly easier competition. So yeah, maybe they are dangling the carrot a little bit, but again, he's a 7-year-old gelding. I mean, I don't know.
Well, 7 is the new 4 because all these 7-year-olds.
That's true. Yeah, you have Wolfie's Dynaghost who's running flight line numbers on the grass now. So I guess Skippy Longstocking is the next coming of Secretariat. Yeah, no, you have a strong point here. So maybe Abner Hall is the new man of war, but for 50K you can dip in and find out.
What a poll.
I'm just trying to think of. I mean, there's probably not a ton of places they can run at Santa Anita because he's probably not up to the likes of some of the better sprinters on the West Coast, like Stakes Company, like a Motorius. But he's also. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to run, 5.5 at Fairgrounds. I mean, what other place are they going to run at?
Yeah, I really don't know. This seems to be kind of the only spot. And I will say, working with Doug and then the agent Tom Knust, I look through the condition book a lot with them in the mornings. There's not a whole lot of options for these turf horses in second level conditions. It might just be, a virtue of that.
Speaking of Doug, you've got the 9 and second, a Doug runner who just cannot lose. And the rider this day on Saturday also can't lose. I mean, these two are just on fire, and they're on fire together as well. This 5-year-old gelding is looking to make it 3 in a row, right?
Yeah, Crazy Cavalier was a horse that couldn't win up until, the mid-late summer at Del Mar. Finally kind of got the job done, and that seemed to be a little bit of a light bulb angle. Didn't win in the next 3 starts, but definitely ran competitive versus those groups, versus winners. And then Mullins Barrios to LeBron and Luca. That's really something. But has strung together 2 wins at 2 different distances, over 2 different turf courses and turf ratings, I guess, if you want to count the November 23 course was good after a little bit of rain hit the Seaside Oval. But look, gets to try going down the hill here. Is it just in good form? The speed figures are a little bit light, but does finish off the races nicely. And Hot Barn going well. And I do think there's a good amount of speed in here. So Jaramillo is going to sit in the right place, and we'll see. Doug even owns a piece of this horse, as you can see by the ownership line. So we'll see if Crazy Cavalier can get a little crazy.
My king, Kyle Roscoe, joining the show, episode 67. Was a time to, I think he meant to say, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
But Kyle, it really is the time to be alive. Appreciate you joining the show, my king. Looking forward to tomorrow night when you guys are talking about GP with Andrew and Pat. So looking forward to that at, 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Talked about the 9, talked about the 10. We let Jackson talk about the 5 is going to be over bet. Lila Crocodile, I've got on top, the number 2. This is a horse that I've been chasing for a while. I've bet him the last couple of times because, number 1, I thought he ran significantly better than the horses that finished in front of him in the Let It Ride. Those two were 1-2 around the track, and he didn't break great, was out the back, and made a huge move to get within a length and 3rd place that day. I liked him a lot in the allowance race. They went to the lead, and I was a little disappointed by his effort, but then I saw that he was going pretty fast, and the fractions came back red. He's also favored that day, so I gave him a bit of an excuse for that. Then the Mathis Mile, another one where he was out the back in a slow pace. The winner of that race, Hiding in Honduras, came back, I believe, was that last weekend or 2 weeks ago?
This past weekend, yeah.
And
2 weekends ago.
Was it 2 weeks? He beat older field, and we've kind of seen that time and time again across the country where these newly turned 4-year-olds are stepping up their game. Exhibit A would be test score in the Pegasus Turf at Gulfstream a couple weeks ago, where it seems like these 4-year-olds are stepping up their game. I think he's got every right to step up his game, and I do like the cutback. I think the cutback's going to be a big angle for him. I know he's got the ability to not be too far off the pace and not be out the back like sometimes he has been within the last couple of times. I know Tiago isn't I know he rides a couple runners for Phil D'Amato, but very capable. I know he's only 8%, but just with the abundance of jockeys coming over here for the winter and their success, he's gotten the limited opportunities, but I think he's got a good opportunity with this runner in another race where it's wide open. And I think you'll get, close to that 10-1, maybe 8 if he drips down a little bit, but give him a big shot on Saturday. We've got the 1 and the 8 to talk about. Jackson, I will let you talk about the number 8 Shady Tiger, another Phil D'Amato runner, and then Ryan will finish us off with the 1. But Jackson, you are first.
Yeah, I'll just keep it brief. This is a horse I felt like it's always had a lot of talent, and still trying to figure out, I think, what he's best at. They've run him dirt, they've run him turf, they've run him short, they've run him long. They're just trying to find, what he's going to be best at. And maybe down the hill is what he's going to be good at, because he does have some numbers to run back to, especially early in his career, that aren't too far off what it's going to take to win this thing. I think he's got a good running style, the way this race is going to set up, and I think he's working well coming into here. I caught a workout with him when in company with Thought Process, who's obviously one of the top horses in the Phil D'Amato barn, and he was kind of just waiting on her, and she finally caught up to him, and he looked like he could have taken off at any point. So it feels like to me he's coming in this race well, and I think he could trip out in here at a bit of a price. He's like my little goofy horse I would use as a backup if I was playing like a turf pick 3 or something.
And Moonlit Sonata, excuse me for the voice crack.
Wow.
Moonlit Sonata, who is a bit of a pace presence from the inside. Ryan, you've got that runner at 3rd.
Yeah, pace presence going longer, but I don't think he's going to find himself on the pace going down the hill. I think it does give him a tactical edge, and Mirko de Muro is just a fantastic turf rider out on this circuit. So I know he's going to have this horse placed in the right spot, and some of his turf rides, when you watch him back, he really knows how much horse he has underneath him. I think the cutback in the Timiac Teen Barn is going to suit him great. You can see he kind of had the lead going 9 furlongs last time out. He had the lead for a little bit as they were going and just couldn't quite hang on. Ended up losing to Baldora, who ran a nice second. I believe it was, Tuesday? On Sunday to end the card. Centro del Antero, City Exile won next out. Same with Enter the Dragon. So a few live runners coming out of there. But I do think the cut back to 6.5 going down the hill is going to fit this runner nicely. And I know Mirko is going to fit well on any turf horse.
For sure. Race came back good. Another one that could take an affinity to the cutback and distance from that mile 2 6.5 down the hill. So looking forward to see how he does. And another one that there's plenty of them. He could go pretty deep in here, I think. Another one that's got a big shot in the penultimate race.
He goes 6 or 7 deep
Saturday. You really could. And it looks like Andrew, who's in the chat, is suggesting that we go 6 or 7 deep. He goes 6-7. He said, "Hey fellas, Andrew, thanks for joining the show." By the way, Andrew is the man. If you don't know, I asked him yesterday for a horse in race 2 at Parks, and he said bet the 3 horse, and he went off 8-1, and he won. So made money there. Appreciate the shout out in the winner that Andrew gave me that day, as well as I think today. I think Matt was able to cash on a winner that he gave out, if I'm not mistaken. But if you need any information about Parks, I mean, it seems like Andrew is the direction to definitely go. All right, we will go to the last race. Yes, King of Parks. Last race, race 10, maiden special weight. I'll get it up on the screen now. Another very difficult race to kick things off. We've got the Turf $5 late double, of course, with the 15% takeout. There is the field, 12 in the body, and the morning line favorites in number 10, Iraq, for Juan Hernandez and John Sadler at 7-2. Number 6, Shares Coin, is the second choice, Freysu and McCarthy at 4-1. And then we've got 2 also eligible to the outside, the 13, Soul Sister, and the number 14, Lirios. Let's see who we are going with to round out the pick 5 on Saturday. I'm going 6-9-10. Jackson's going 4-6-11, and Ryan is going 10-6-5. I think Ryan's turn. Ryan, I believe it's your turn to talk about the morning line favorite, you chalk eater. 7-2, Sadler, Hernandez. What did you like about this runner, and possibly a third single?
Yeah, we'll see, I guess, when we get to best bets. But look, debuting in September 5th at Del Mar, going the mile, that's not an easy task. Ran second behind Brave Deb, who came right back to win the Surf City, which is a grade 3, going 2 turns on the grass at Del Mar during their fall meet, and then came back in the Breeders' Cup to run in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. And I really respected that effort. And the Surfer Girl at Santa Anita is what I was looking for, not whatever I said the first time.
What did you
say?
Go ahead
and ignore that. I have no idea, but it was wrong. So took a bit of the winner off, came back in a nice 6 furlong kind of start back up race, and made a mess of things at the start. Certainly caused more trouble for other horses than she did for herself, but I still think she had some greenness to her and some maturing to do. She got a race off the bench. Now she's going to stretch back out to 2 turns. I love what she showed on debut going the 2 turns. I know she maybe got a tiny bit of a pace setup, as you can see the red coded fractions there, but I do think she's going to be sitting in the right spot. I love when Sadler makes this move and stretches out to 2 turns. He's had a little bit of a cold meet. 3 for 53 is not typically what you see from the Sadler barn, but does have 19 seconds and thirds. So just on the wrong side of those on those photos. And that's definitely gonna change sooner rather than later, in my opinion. So Juan hopping aboard here. This horse is certainly working forwardly out of that last race and has some good 5 furlong stamina drills preparing for the stretch out. So yeah, I really like Iraq in this spot.
Yeah, pretty atypical of Sadler to have a bit of a cold meet like he has. I mean, it's not like his runners aren't firing. It's just he hasn't, found the winner circle, obviously, as much as he would have liked. I guess could be a bit of a red flag, but obviously Sadler is very capable. He's 21% last year and, wins off the chain sometimes. I mean, you get cold and you get hot. I mean, that's pretty much the name of the game. Jackson, you've got the 4 on top, and I believe it's one of 2 or 3 runners from the D'Amato Martin. 8-1 on this runner. Number 4, Daria, coming in. Another runner that's coming in from overseas. Obviously, there are some things you probably like in the mornings.
Yeah. Some things I like in the mornings. And I just thought this was a competitive race. I think you can make a case for a lot of horses. I don't have the 10 anywhere, and I'm really not against her. I think she's got a good shot in here. It just feels like one of those races maybe worth price shopping a little bit just because it seems that wide open. This is a filly that's actually been working. They worked her a couple times with Gold Phoenix, which I thought was interesting because when you have a barn like Phil D'Amato's, he's got 100 horses. I mean, you can pair up 8 horses with whoever you want. And usually you're going to pair up horses that have similar ability-ish type levels. And, I thought she more than held her own when they went in company with Gold Phoenix. And I thought that was interesting that they were bothering to do that. Brought her back against another filly named Nell's Legacy, went just as well with that filly too. She's a winner. She's won a couple races, I believe, has a lot of speed. I just think she's been showing some ability in the mornings, and I think she's drawn well. And if she can translate that ability in the morning to the afternoon, I think 8-1's a pretty good price in a race that seems pretty competitive.
Pretty competitive indeed. My topic is the number 6 Chairs Coin, who we all have in the mix. You guys both have her in second. And this is just one of those horses. I know you guys have felt this way. I've been waiting to bet her back for a long time. I guess maybe it wasn't that long. I mean, it'll only be 2 months. But this is the Ramayana race, or Ramayama, as Ryan likes to say. I think he said that.
Tough names tonight. Jeez.
1,000 times. Ramayana came back and won. Obviously, you can see with the italics there. But I wanted to show this replay because, I mean, I thought this was pretty much the definition of running inefficiently, and I need to get it to about the far turn. I know it's very difficult to kind of see on the screen, but I will try to get my cursor as close. This is her outside the 7, kind of making a premature move here. I am following a bit of the belief that the inside was more of the better place on opening day, but you can see, I mean, she's not saving ground, and she's not at all on the best part of this turf course. She's 5 wide at this point, making a premature move. That was a pretty fast pace, if I am not mistaken. And probably you, I know, came back and was a little disappointing, but is an okay runner for Jonathan Thomas. And then here's Ramayana, who got an absolute beautiful ride from Rispoli that day. She just gets nosed out for second, but obviously I thought had every right to get a little tired late. Looks like McCarthy throws the blinkers on her. The LASIK certainly will not hurt, and I think she's got a huge shot in here. Another race where I feel like you're going to get a pretty good price on anybody. If she's 3-1 or so, I think that would be a great price. So looking forward to seeing her run on Saturday, one that I've been waiting to see run, and glad that she shows up. And you guys both have her in second, so I'll just kind of, open mic here. I'll leave it to both of you if you've got anything else to add.
No, she's the horse to beat, and she did not get a good trip in either of those races. She made extended moves while wide on the turn, and that's not a winning trip out here on the grass in Southern California. So finally has a reasonable post position, blinkers going on, LASIKs. I think there's a lot to like.
Yeah,
right.
I don't necessarily.
Anything on her or any other winners?
No, I have nothing to add. I mean, could certainly improve. Blinkers on, first time LASIKs.
Anything on the 5, Cortina D'Impreza? Wow, they're really testing my abilities.
They are, but you're doing pretty well so far. I got to be honest.
It's 6 of course.
There you go. But look, this one comes back to make the 3-year-old debut for Phil D'Amato. Another one of his. I think it's the quartet in here that he has entered. So we'll see. I mean, I like the works coming in. I should really start noting down which ones I watched. It was either the February 2nd or the February 9th one. But yeah, I'm sorry for that terrible job that I do there. But I'm not known for my workout looks anyway. So first time LASIK for Phil D'Amato here. Did some growing up over the winter for sure. You get Kazushi aboard. This horse can be kind of tactically placed. So I certainly want to include this horse on some of my deeper horizontal tickets. If I'm playing either the turf pick 3, the pick 5, the pick 6, whatever it is, I do think that's a must use. I should also note there's a horse that's on the AEs that I followed the rules this time and didn't include. But if Soul Sister draws in, I might just single this horse and have to chase her one more time because I singled her last time and she did not get the job done for me, finishing 4th by 5 lengths. But
she was bad.
I'm gonna look to that effort 3 back over the Delmar track in that maiden race, and I'm just gonna hope that she can get back to that because that was a huge effort that day.
Yeah, I know you guys both liked her a lot, right? In that race on the 30th.
Can we side bet this race?
Sure, why not?
I don't like the 10 too much. I'll take the 6 over the 10, Ryan.
Sure.
Whoa, I got the 6 on. You don't even have the 6. Why don't you take the 4?
Because the 6 and the 10 are going to be like 3-1 each, and that was the rule last week. You said I couldn't take my top pick because he was.
This 4 is working with Gold Phoenix. Isn't she going to get hammered?
No. They're going to go crazy for the 10.
Phoenix, Gold Phoenix is going to be running in this race with the way he ran on last weekend. He's going to join him like a pace car in NASCAR. I mean, that was.
It wasn't his
day.
Day.
Top pick. Come on. This guy is
day week.
Hang on. You set the precedent last week when I wanted to take my top pick, and you said no. And now I'm not taking my top pick for a side bet. And you're saying I have to take my top pick. You
Yeah.
made these rules.
You gotta take
Yo,
because I had the 6 on top, so I would take the 6, and you would take the. This show's gone off the rails.
When were we on the rails, man?
We're never on the rails.
You want to talk about this horse, or do you want to go to best bets?
The one thing I don't think we've talked about too much in this race is of the horses that have run, there's really not a lot of speed. Like no one's really gone towards the front. And I think this might be a filly who can get really aggressive in this spot. I know the pace projector has her towards the back, but in her debut, she was on the lead sprinting. Then they came back last time. She tried to make the front and broke with the field. Just kind of got squeezed out of there and found herself towards the back half of the field, excuse me. I just feel like she has more ability than what she's shown up to this point, and especially coming from the Neil Drysdale barn, who's going to typically give his horses a race or two to get some momentum going and probably going to be much better third or fourth time out. I think stretching out is probably what she's always wanted to do. And with Mike Smith being aboard, you know, she's going to be first or last, like she has been in her first couple starts. So I think they might get really aggressive with her early on with this outside post. If she can clear his field at a huge number, I want to have her on some tickets as more of a B.
It should really blow things up if you're playing, you know, late pick 3, late double, turf pick 3. So, you know, good luck to you if you've got the 11 and you're live on some tickets for sure. We'll go to best bets and let's go to Jackson first. Race 6, at least he chose one of either the 6 or the 7 in terms of having his best bet in one of those races. Actually, it's both. Race 6.
I had to do both.
Perfect.
I had to do both.
Double from race 6 to race 7. He's going with the 5, who is Bowtie Boys, I believe, and the 7 is it's the Glatt runner.
Navy Bell.
Navy Bell. Take it away.
Yeah, I wanted to do a little double here, and Bowtie Boys, I believe, is 2-1 on the morning line. If that horse is 2-1, that is dead on the board, and I wouldn't be betting. He's going to be like 4-5, given the pace scenario. So it feels like a race where you can kind of just get a short price favorite home, try to get a little more value out of a win parlay and just do a daily double instead. And it's going to pay well in the second leg, trying to beat a short price and what's her name? And Gratefully. Yeah. So if you're able to beat Gratefully in the second half of the double, it should pay very well relative to the parlay. So that's what I'm trying to do in that race. Cause I do think Navy Bell, if they can be a little bit more aggressive with her early on in the race, put herself in the race a little bit more. Don't let Gratefully get too far in front of you. She's got numbers that are faster than Gratefully. So she just needs to get back to those. And if she does, she's going to be a handful, or she can be very dangerous in a race like that. So I'm going to go 5-7 double starting in race number 6.
Love the race selection. Good luck to you with your best bet on Saturday. Whoops, I threw up mine on accident. He answered the bell. He singled in all 3 legs of the turf pick 3. Starts in race 7, races 7, 9, and 10. He is going 6 with 10 with 10. Ryan, it's ballsy. I like it.
Yeah, it's not. They're all, I think, the morning line favorites. But if I'm going to think that they're all going to win, I got to single them all. But
so creative.
Gratefully, again, I think is the most talented horse in that race. And then these next 2 races, I do think are very competitive. And I think in these races, because of the low 15% takeout that the turf pick 3 offers and the high minimum of $3, you typically get a little bit better than what that parlay is going to pay anyway. So I'm going to press this up a bunch. I do think Amner Hall have been waiting to bet this horse back, and Fresu is back and healthy to ride this horse. So he rides her well. So I got to take Amner Hall in there. And then I'm going to follow up in the last race with Urak, who, in my opinion, could really take a huge jump forward in that second start off the layoff. So side bet with Jackson. Am I betting you too, Noah? What am I betting you on?
I don't know.
All right. Well, whatever you want to bet on. I don't care. So the 10's going to win the last race. That much I know. So I'm just going to press up this turf pick 3 a little bit. And then, I'll play a backup where I use the second and third choices in that last race. And Jackson wins best bet. So there you go.
Yeah, it looks like Katie's not a fan of your, single.
Well, I used the 6 in race 7. I don't know what you want from me. I did my part.
Good luck with your best bet. Race 10 is where my best bet lands.
Wow, threw in the breeding in there too. Nice.
I always do that. That's that attention to detail you don't get on other shows. I love it. Win bet race 6.
Yeah, like the distances of the races.
And the configuration.
Win on the number 6 in race 10. That's Chair's Coin. Talked about her pretty extensively, I guess, about how I thought she ran pretty inefficiently last time, made an early move, got a little tired. He throws the blinkers back on to help her finish a little better. And seems like with the open nature of that race, you get a price on anybody. So I'm going to be betting the 6, probably going to be, if I play some of the later bets, which I've been fortunate enough to be pretty successful. I don't want to talk me, but
wow.
But if I play anything, I'll probably just try to get alive to the 6 runner in there. Good luck to everybody on Saturday. You guys got anything before we go?
Yeah, I have a side bet proposal for you too. Lyle the Crocodile versus Yakovlev, who you said has no chance.
I didn't say he has no chance.
You basically said
this is the same case that you just made. I have a runner that's going to be 12-1, and you got a Barrios Mullins.
This was a literal quote from you during the show. You said, "I think his horse is going to be about 8-1." Now you're checking the price to get a better point across later. Come on.
Yeah, but he's going to get bet. The 5's going to get bet. That's Luka and LeBron. Somebody said that's Luka and LeBron in there.
Fine, I'll take the 8. Give me the 8. Who's actually
give me the 1. Give me the 1. 1 versus 2 versus 8.
Side bets.
I already have a side bet with you. I need a side bet with him.
No, fair enough.
Other way.
I got it right.
No, other way. You got it wrong. Other way.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a picture. I swear I'm pointing at Noah. You guys are messing with me.
You're pointing right at your face right now.
No.
Also, don't send us a picture. We're watching the screen.
I'm literally pointing at Noah.
No, you're not.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on episode 67. I don't think it gets any better than that, but hopefully you join us next week because we will probably be talking some more Santa Anita. So for Jackson, for Ryan, this has been episode 67 of Pacific Horse Players, covering the late pick 5 on Saturday at Santa Anita. And until next time, PHP out.